All right, that steel cage match for the Women's World Championship between Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, and I think it was maybe a step above, but it. I don't know. I don't want to point fingers. I think I've said I was going to be watching this very closely to see how. I think I said I was going to watch this very closely just to see the quality of Liv Morgan's ring work.
What do you think was different? Do you think the chemistry was better? Do you think it was just better because it was a steel cage match? Like, what do you think?
I think the stipulation for sure helped it.
Okay.
And I mean, it was a standard steel cage match. I didn't think it was terrible.
Even though I feel like the stipulation was for someone couldn't interfere in the match, even
Josh,
though
that's
still interfered in the match.
Wrestling trope of the week.
Wrestling cliche
The
of the week.
steel cage is to prevent interference.
But you
How
can
come
just open
every steel cage match has interference? It's either somebody's opening the door, somebody's climbing over the cage, somebody's coming up through the ring, somebody's throwing a weapon over the. We've seen it all. Somebody is always. You got me going now. Now we're gonna talk about the finish. That's what you wanted, Josh. We're gonna do it. It's like somebody always finds a way to interfere in that damn match, and this is so convoluted. What they did, I posted about this on Threads, and you may have already seen it. But the finish of this match was so convoluted. Like the circles, the hoops that they have to jump through to get Liv Morgan to retain a championship. They had. It's just like people just kept coming from the back. I was just expecting, you know how the clowns get out the car in the circus. It was like just like more wrestlers kept coming out of the back. The first one.
That was perfect analogy. Clowns coming out the car.
You had Dominik Mysterio trouncing down to the ring with the sling and that dumbass mullet. That mullet is getting longer every week, and I hate it. I hate it more every time it grows. But you see him hopping down the ring, and then he's opening the doors. Come on, Becky. And then she kind of hesitates a little bit, and while the whole thing was going on, when the door was wide open, she could have exited and won the match. She could have exited. It made Becky look like a dunce.
That's the other thing too. Like, it's not all on Dom. Like, he opened the door and she was right there. Like, you come on. Like, you can do it. I think I understand the whole she doesn't want to win because of Dom thing, because that's not what a babyface does. But still, like, Becky, come on. what are we doing? Like, you could literally just walk. Like,
you need to end that match, because the longer that match plays out, the more opportunity for shenanigans. And speaking of shenanigans, there's more, Josh. And I know you saw it. So, after Dom, Dirty Dom, after he came down to the ring, then you see JD and Finn come out, and they're telling him, like,
what are you doing, man? Come on.
You shouldn't be out here. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They're trying to get him to leave this match alone, but he's trying to make up for Mommy. I mean, he's a modern day Benedict Arnold. He's a turncoat. He is a double agent, however you want to call it. I'm calling it right now. He's going to end up aligned with Liv Morgan in some form or fashion. And Rhea's not built like that.
Why would he turn on the Judgment Day, you think? Just because he's a heel?
Well, no, because Liv Morgan, her thing is she wants to take everything from Rhea. And so that was integral to her character. Like, they were the modern day Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, but why would Dom go with her, though? That was what I'm asking.
Because he was manipulated by Liv. I mean, that's the only reason that I can come up with. But let's not get derailed here, because there were more clowns coming out the car. And so when they're down at ringside, then you have Braun Strowman, who was on the lookout for JD, because remember earlier that night JD smacked him in the back with that chair. Mm-hmm. Braun didn't take to that too kindly, and so I had a problem with that. Now that as I'm talking, I'm rewatching the show. I had a problem after he hit Braun with that chair, and Braun was unfazed. He stood there for a second, hit him again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. But instead, he booked it to the back. Now, Braun had been looking for him for 2 hours, because it's a 3-hour show. Happened in the first hour. Braun was looking for him, and then Braun Strowman's music hits. He comes down to the ring, and then he runs around it. He chases off JD and Finn, bumps Dom, who bumps the door, who slams into Becky's face. And as you can tell, there was a lot going on here. We just recounted everything that happened. That was ample time for Becky to escape the cage. Or Josh, she could have pinned Liv. She could have hit her with the manhandle slam, or Like there were options. So it really did make Becky look like a dunce. I don't think there's any other way to put it. She got easily distracted. I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't be distracted by the amount of shit that was going on out there either. But I was very irritated because not too much though. I'm trying to figure out how exactly I felt about it, but I was entertained. I thought it was funny just how many people were running out and just because I knew what was going to happen. I knew that Liv was going to retain, but the lengths that they went to in order to have her retain, that's what I found funny. But I did get irritated with just how stupid some of the wrestlers looked in this segment. And
it's Liv, I think it'd be interesting to like every time she defends the title, is something like this going to happen every time?
It is. She's a fluke champion. She's not been booked as a credible champion.
That comes to the prediction though. Like, how long will Liv actually have this title? And I think she's gonna have it until at least Rhea comes back.
That's what I said. And so I was talking about this on Threads.
So keep going.
The people that were getting on me, they said that this is. I'm telling you, there are certain internet dogs you do not say anything about. If you say anything about Liv Morgan, they will be on your ass. I think I sent you a screenshot of how many people responded to what I said about Liv in that storyline there. And the numbers kept going up even after I said that to you. But they're saying, yeah, that's her character. She's supposed to be like a chicken heel and you don't know anything about wrestling. Dude, I understand the concept of a chicken heel. I am very familiar. Like, JBL was one at some points. I would say, who else have we seen as a really effective chicken heel? Definitely some of the smaller wrestlers, but just with her, with this being her second championship reign, I would like to see her establish herself as somebody who can set herself apart, stand on her own, and actually be a threat. But now it's pretty much she just is getting really lucky because if nobody interfered in that match, Josh, how would she retain the championship? She wouldn't. So what you're gonna have with Liv, you're gonna have the bloodline package, and what I mean by bloodline package is every match is gonna be an interference or something fluky. There's not gonna be any straight up victory, and so she's gonna have the belt.
So wait, so you telling me what Dom is gonna try to come out and be like try to prevent her from doing it, and he just turns on him every time, like.
I don't know. I mean, next week
this happened. I'm very curious about the next match.
Her next title defense, I'm expecting more wrestlers to be involved in the finish.
Or maybe by the time she has her next match, maybe Dom will already be with her, and he'll just end up distracting the women in the match every time, something like that.
But could be the case.
Who knows?
You know, think about this too. Just because Rhea isn't on TV, because it's always funny how, if you think from a storyline perspective, there's time that transpires outside of the shows. So you could theoretically watch the show, Josh, we're tag team partners, and I see you do some shady stuff. But I didn't see it live, but I see it on TV or the internet on Twitter. Could I not talk to you about it or confront you throughout the course of the week? Do I have to wait until the next show? And do you seriously think that Rhea is not watching the show? Like, why has... It doesn't seem that there's been any contact between her and Dom or anything like that. I understand from a storyline you kind of... There's no payoff there because she's not actually able to do anything.
I think in the reality of kayfabe, it only exists if it's being recorded.
I mean, they've done segments in which people have gotten attacked at the Performance Center and stuff outside of it. But
have you seen footage from it?
Yeah.
Exactly. It was recorded.
Right. And so, but listen, I'm just saying, I would love to see a segment where maybe they show, like, earlier in the day where Dom was on the phone and he was getting yelled at by Rhea.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying you want a recorded thing outside of the show? Okay.
I understand that she's injured, and like I said, there's no real payoff to getting her involved in person.
Who knows? Maybe Rhea would show up at Liv's house like LA Knight did to AJ Styles, something like that. Who knows?
Maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them.
As far as the prediction with this, I just do think Liv will have the title until Rhea comes back, but. My only question is just how is she gonna win the matches? Not clean, man. Don't ask any questions online because you will get attacked. Yeah, and I think we saw that Becky's taking a hiatus, so it'll be interesting to see who will be Liv's next opponent. Who would you want it to be exactly?
Lyra Valkyria. I can see her. I can see her.
Interesting.
She is overall. I think she's probably the best candidate because she made it the furthest in the the Queen of the Ring tournament. But then also, that's kind of counterintuitive because if the loser,
you lost,
like the runner, right?
So why are you still getting a title shot?
The stipulation was the winner gets a number one, but you were the runner up. So it's like, it's kind of like if you know how they say C's get degrees, so you're just trying to be just good enough.
Hey, I got to the finals. It's okay.
Like, I don't have to win.
Yeah,
Naya's pretty scary. Let me just win by count out, and I can get a match. Yeah, I could see her. I would want to see some more justification of her getting that match. Maybe her winning a number one contendership, triple threat, or something. I don't know. But don't just give the match to her, because that's gonna piss me off. And then I need to see her. This is the opportunity for her to have a different show, because it's a different style of match that she worked with Liv, or excuse me, a different type of match that she worked with Nia. And it was kind of like the David vs. Goliath technical base with the unstoppable force. That was a really neat dynamic. But I'm really becoming a fan of Lyra's work, and I'm not too optimistic, honestly. I don't think that. I'm just curious how it's going to play out, to be completely candid. I don't think that Liv's in-ring work is her strong point at all. And this cage match kind of like solidified that for me. It was better than the first encounter, like I said, but it wasn't that much better. And I mean, I can't look back at any Liv Morgan match and be like, that was really impressive. Just my personal opinion. So if Lyra can get a good match out of her, more power to her.
Yeah, I think I would say if they do some type of number one contender match, maybe Fatal 4-Way or something, and Lyra's in it, maybe she could win. But again, it does bring up the question, like, what was the point of the Queen of the Ring tournament and her losing if you're just gonna get her a title shot anyway?
She has to earn it.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting see what happens with that. But I do think, like I said, Liv is gonna have the title until Rhea comes back and takes it from her. And probably it'll be some type of love triangle with Dom. So we'll see though. Yeah.